Okay, I react.
Go?
Yes.
How's it going, everyone? We're the team ECSITE, engineering community of students, integrating technology and education, and we're trying to get you excited about this topic. Hector, Sebastian, Stefania, Angela, and Saule.
Okay, so our motivation. We have seen that as engineers, we feel that we are not really technically prepared, and sometimes we would like to look for some projects to work in. We also have a lack of integration with society, and we sense that the rest of society fears and doesn't like engineering. So we would like to change that.
Our mission is to educate to practical application of engineering concepts. The strategy, we're going to guide you through 100 steps, and we're going to give you the last 10, which are the most important ones. In this case, it's informing the community that we exist. We want to recruit a team. Someone's going to be doing the job. We have a call for concerns. In this case, the community will be bringing problems or issues that they might want to resolve. We have an election and prioritization of projects. This will be done by some of the faculty. We'll go into a little detail later. Prioritization of the projects. Well, what are the measurable deliverables that we want to do? Separation of thesis and non-thesis. This is going to be open for students that might not be doing this for a capstone project. In this case, I didn't know, in Latin America, they have what they call a social internship. And assignment of the groups and projects, divide the people and divide and conquer. Execution of the projects, the result, and how we're going to follow through eventually. First step, inform the community. We were thinking, since it's going to be something local, we would use newspapers or local ad or something. We can do the local news and create a website, which I know this is not a lot of people have access to the internet, but the ones that do, you can definitely access through online service and print out flyers.
Okay, so recruitment. We will have like the option of having a social internship for you to have in your CV, and also the option of picking a thesis of the pool of problems that we would have.
The call for concern. This is where the community brings in your problems. Someone, the ECSITE office or the headquarters in this case, could be a club on the campus. It should be within the university, and we will try to address local problems. Hold on, go back. And we would bring problems on a year-round basis. Most likely we won't address them right away, but it could be something that could be used eventually in further semesters.
Okay, election and prioritization. First of all, we want the projects to be feasible, communal, not individual, local. This is to be close to the university and create social integration. And challenging problems that make us think that the solution is not obvious, and obviously, well, budget.
Parameterization, how would the students get measured? Members of the faculty, depending on the department that they're in, they could potentially bring advisors from those departments that would participate as the evaluators of the entire project. They would analyze hours that would be invested in the project, how the quality of life of the individuals bringing their problem would be improved, and what kind of financial investment you have to do.
Then we would separate the thesis from the non-thesis according to the complexity of the project, and the people involved would choose the projects they want to work with. In the execution, it's really important to say that we expect to fund our projects through local industry enterprises, because they will have a tax exception as motivations.
For the results, we're going to measure the deliverables that were expected from the parameterization originally. We suggest doing this in a project fair at the end of the semester for the students that participate in the projects, and potentially offer rewards. We noticed that at this event, the GSF has been working, trying to involve the students in this.
Okay, so the follow-through, we would expect to receive feedback from the community, measure the impact, and see the potential improvements that we are getting.
We noticed that there are going to be pros and cons of developing a project like this in a community. The pros are engineering applications, you have the education aspect, the sense of belonging to a community, and the cons would be you could potentially bring competition to local businesses, and sense of discomfort if you were to discriminate one of the projects because it's not exactly engineering based, like changing the tires, something simple that doesn't require a lot of application. Oh, sorry. Successful programs that, how we measure that this could be addressed is there are programs that exist, at least in some universities here in Colombia and I know in the United States. UCSITE was my undergraduate education, University of California, San Diego. They had this Teams in Engineering service. It was sponsored by the university, a project work done in the community, and a practicum which involved all the students in different fields.
Also in Colombia we have the Universidad Javeriana, we have a program for teaching kids in schools in Usme, and it's only for engineers. And also Universidad de los Andes and Minuto de Dios has a project, but they don't get the people to be leaders and to give creative solutions. You know, you get into a project and you just do what they tell you to do. So this doesn't like make a real change.
Lastly, the timeline. We expect to do this in 6 months.
Yeah,
We
she's
do
got
documentation.
20 seconds, a minute after time, so try to finish in the next 7 seconds.
7 seconds. So we did the timeline in 6 months, where each month essentially is documentation, submitting a project, research, and lastly, starting the whole project, bringing concerns from the community. Thank you.
So maybe Dina, you want to start the discussion and then we go to you.
Like a couple. How will you ensure the quality of the people that is going to be working with this group of ECSITE?
You mean quality from the community or from the school?
From the projects which you will be reviewing, the person who will analyze the quality of that person who will be working along the recruited persons. You're saying inside the group of ECSITE.
I'm assuming you're referring to the group that's going to be leading this ECSITE.
Yes.
Okay, so this, with the way we planned it, would be with faculty from the university that would be implementing the site.
Right.
So you have your advisors on campus will, at the same time, they're going to determine which this is feasible and if this is technical enough for you to do a project on.
Okay.
Did that answer your question?
Yes. So you're basically saying there will be a faculty which is associated with it, but the students will be leading this whole
Yes.
work.
I mean, yes, the project will be brought in or concerns, and faculty will have the ultimate decision. If they say no, they can reject it.
The student group will be changing every year. The student
Exactly,
group.
because students graduate.
Yes. And how is the link between that two? Like, how is the sustainability of the students that you're going to recruit and find?
Well, they have a follow to the teacher that's assigned to each project. That I don't know, a new person that wants a thesis comes and he gives the project to the next student and explains how is it.
Proper documentation.
Yes. That is what I was expecting. Yes.
Yes. So have you think about what kind of projects are you going to accept from the community?
Yeah, like
Right?
our criteria are like feasibility that projects that are like affecting a community. For example, in Bogota we have problems with flooding. We have constant flooding. This would be a really good example of how would we solve the problem of flooding without doing something really expensive but a really cost-efficient solution.
Yeah, I'm just saying that because people can start calling, I have a problem in my house with my husband, or something like that. So, you know, if you define, if you,
Yeah, no,
if
we
you
would.
define the scope,
It's going to be collective.
yeah, versus
Yeah.
Our
community.
criteria.
Okay. And how will you get the reward? Because you said that you're gonna have a reward for the winner. Okay.
Like the incentive, like a price for if we had a fair.
Uh-huh.
That was one of the add-ons that we had. That I mean, it might be just recognition in the class. You're in the class for a reason. or you could potentially try to get companies to sponsor the project. It could be something like there was money set aside for the project, for the winning project to be done at the end. And throughout the 6 semesters, the 6 months in the semester, it could be brought up to a company from the very beginning to go, these are the projects that we have. We're trying to raise money to sponsor one of them at the end. And I don't know, it kind of would be like a raffle that Bill was mentioning before.
How do you define who is a community leader? Because you were raising the fact that you wanted to work with community leaders. How do you define who is a community leader and why work with them rather than someone else? Is there a definition of a community leader? I don't know.
We discussed this yesterday.
That's why.
Well, it's going to be once the projects are assigned, the teams are made, the teams will have to eventually meet with their liaison or the link to the community. We discussed the risk of having someone that shows up one day and then the next day you have a different representative. In this case, it would be, you have to specify the direct channel that you're going to be communicating to the community. So you would pick, or you would come to a decision of who would be the leader in the community, or that it could be one person bringing a concern, or it could be 20 citizens bringing a concern. So you would point one of them, and then that's your connection. And anything that should be related to it, it could be either emailed or connected via internet, or brought to the leader of the community and then communicated back to the team. Yeah, answer.
Yes, sure.
I was going to comment about that because I thought it was very well done. I'll start with that. The whole idea about the community and the idea that some people might say it's not fair, they take this project, they can take my project. I would probably use a complete third party. There's local, I'm sure there's local government representatives in each community, and I would probably use them as a clearinghouse. That way you don't have to worry about which one's getting priority. Because the other thing is that if you want to start doing a website and the whole informal community, which is your first part, there are costs involved in that. So I would think about whether there's another way that you can go through to make the communications. It's not going to give you too many startup costs. And that way you can still go through prioritize which ones that are going to be done, but it would rather be a local government official or something who's going to have to know about it anyway, that could bring you forward to projects that he's basically vetted. So,
I'm sorry to interrupt. One of the reasons we also were thinking about the prioritization was they could bring a problem and it essentially not be engineering related. But with the faculty advising, they could analyze the issue and essentially make it. I've been in projects where they do a spin-off and it's not exactly what that, but there's a spin-off and we can do something engineering related.
okay, but it doesn't necessarily, they don't have to necessarily come in directly, they could still come
Through the
local
third party.
government query. It's just a thought. You said there is a risk for students. Are you talking about liability?
We discussed this as what if it's a not so secure, safe area? Because when we mentioned helping the community in the projects that we brought in, we were considering poorer areas or regions within the city or around the city.
Have you thought about liability? You're fixing problems. You're going to be liable for the results.
Yeah, for whatever
So
happens.
you might need to think about that. That could add a layer of complexity to what you're not just painting houses.
Yeah, no,
It's
exactly.
not whatever it's called, habitat, homes for habitat.
Yeah.
So I think you need to think about that. And the other question I had, because you mentioned other initiatives like the teams in, what was the one in Southern
Teams in Engineering Service.
Right, so my question is, how original is your idea?
Well, I know that one was sponsored through the university.
But is that similar to what you're proposing?
They provide a similar service. And to my impact or my impression here was that I thought this was something that many universities in Latin America were doing. I grew up in Mexico, but I didn't get to see what the universities there were doing. And I know that a lot of the hands-on experience comes through a lab or an actual practical class that you take. And they mentioned it, Angela told us about if you go to the next slide, the Universidad Javeriana. This project goes with the community. It's essentially what we're trying to do, and this one teaches students in 5th grade. But the only focus of this community.
Okay, but my question was, what you just proposed, does that exist already somewhere else?
No, not exactly.
Because the question really goes to the originality of the idea.
Yeah, exactly. I said in the end that we think this is really original because we would give the students the problem without being analyzed, you know? When you get a problem, you usually get said, for example, in Ingenieros Sin Fronteras, okay, you need to do this, you need to
You get
do a
the
budget, do a business plan, or whatever. In this case, you will have to figure out how to solve the problem.
Okay, so that's solving the problem, but the rest of the context, the fact that you can get credit, that it could be part of the co-op thing, what's it called again? When you go off for 6 months.
Exchange.
Social internship?
No, well, yeah, the idea that you get credits is going to be a master's, a doctorate, is that the other. Does all of that exist already somewhere?
Yeah, in my university, you have something called Project Intermedio, in which you can work with this program called Ingenieros Sin Fronteras.
Okay.
But the problem that I see is that they already give you the problem and you need to do this.
Okay,
Period.
okay.
They give you the parameters you're working with,
Okay.
but you're constrained to solve this.
Okay,
Or
but the
provide
other
some-
one, the TIES.
TIES.
Is this a carbon copy of TIES?
It's a group within a university.
No, I know, but is this idea almost the same thing that TIES is doing already?
It's a similar thing, but at the same time, I know they have constraints. That's saying we're only doing this in a certain part, and we're giving this. You have to work with this.
Okay, is it okay to finish with your question now?
Sorry.
The
Thank you very much.
There are similar products, but we offer the extra cake.
Okay.
Thank you.